Good morning, Conestoga. I'm James Connors.
And I'm Mary Bridget Kane.
And welcome to Mainline Morning. Today we have a very special guest. We have Nancy Hicks from QVC. Welcome, Mrs. Hicks.
Hi, great to be here.
Great to have you here, Mrs.
Thanks.
Hicks. So now, you work at QVC. Tell us a little bit more about what you do.
Well, I'm a guest specialist, which means that I represent one line. In fact, my line is a fashion apparel. I love it, called Effortless Style. So one line of fashion apparel, and that's what I specialize in. That's what I do all the time. Every time I'm on air, it's one line.
So you must work with designers then.
Love it in New York. Yeah, fabulous designers and wonderful stylists that travel to Milan and to France and sort of check out all of the new hottest things that are coming up on the runway. So it's great. Yeah, I love it.
And how did you get your start in the television industry?
Well, my background, actually, funny enough, is performing, but it was actually singing. So I had been singing from the time I was really young and had been performing in concert and opera and musical theater. And that's, in fact, what my degree was in, too, was classical voice and opera. And then, did the occasional commercial or actually any of the television things I had done had been singing, so which was fabulous. So I hadn't really thought about this as a vocation, but it sort of evolved into that, which was really cool. Yeah.
So now you didn't go to college to study television.
Right.
You grew up in Canada.
I did.
And tell us a little bit more about that.
About growing up in Canada, or
Yeah.
about the whole college, university, we say, university. College is like,
University.
yeah, you want to go to university in Canada. So, so I studied at the University of Toronto and got my degree in classical voice and opera. Canada's fabulous. I mean, Toronto's an incredible 6 million, very multicultural city. And that was the school that I knew that I wanted to go to study voice. And it was great. I mean, I have a family. All of our family is still back in Canada. And yeah, I hadn't even thought about broadcasting or communications actually because I have 2 boys, until I really had to evaluate what the cost was in terms of, and I mean like in terms of family life. What's the cost of traveling and performing versus choosing something that's going to be a little more local that I can manage and still have a family?
Right. Right.
So we moved to the U.S. with my husband's business. That's another reason why I had to sort of say, okay, so all of the directors I had worked with, all of the people that had hired me in Canada, in Toronto, well, now they were gone. Now I'm here in the U.S. and starting at the bottom again, and trying to get your name out there, and it's hard. It's really hard, especially if you're still trying to be a mom.
Absolutely.
It's tough.
Absolutely.
So what was your first job in the television industry?
Well, my first real job in the television industry was QVC.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and that actually came about because I was singing. I was performing at a big fashion show that we were having, and I was the singer, and I was having a great time with the whole fashion thing. And there were 2 QVC hosts in the audience that night. And at the end of the evening, they came up and they gave their cards to me and said, "You'd be great on QVC." So they spotted me. I didn't go looking for it. And in fact, I didn't even do anything with their contact information for a couple of years. I sent them a thank you note to say, that was very kind of you to think of me. But I put it in my contact file. Want to keep a contact file, very important. And then I didn't do anything, but QVC kept coming up, and I knew at that point I'd been a singer all my life, and I knew that I was making a career switch. I just knew it was going to happen, and because of the kids.
Yeah.
So I thought, you know what, I think this is where I'm headed. And I had done, in fact, my part-time job, which camera am I looking at? Where am I?
We're on camera 2 right now, the middle camera.
So I knew that I was going to make a career switch, and so what was I saying? Career switch.
You were talking about your career switch from singing to
Yeah, I don't know what I was saying, but anyway.
You're talking about how QVC contacted you.
Yeah, they contacted me. I kept coming up, and that's what I was going to say. I had a part-time job when I was in high school. This is important, I think, too, because you sort of think, oh, well, what I'm doing in high school doesn't really matter. Oh, yes, it does. So I worked for 6 years in a high-end fashion boutique in Toronto, in the city. I loved it, and worked full-time in the summers, and that really prepared me and gave me a real in, plus my performance background, at QVC.
Wow.
That was a big deal to them. Yeah,
All right.
it's cool.
All right. Well, we know we've got Alex Nofer over here ready to do our sports for the day. Alex, what's going on? I know the Phillies are starting pretty soon for their playoff series with the Rockies.
Yep, they are. On Wednesday, they have a game 1, which the pitching matchup isn't very sure yet. They don't know if it's going to be Hamels or Lee. That's at 2:37, which is kind of not a very good time for anybody. And then on Thursday, there's game 2, which is again at 2:37, which I'll be attending, which is pretty awesome. And also in baseball, the Twins versus the Tigers is today for the last spot in the postseason at 5 o'clock. Scott Priscillo and Scott Baker, the rookie lefty from the Tigers versus the Twins, tonight will be trying to decide the last spot in the postseason. Also last night on Monday Night Football, the Vikings versus the Packers. Favre was trying to get revenge on the Packers, and he did. They won 30-23, and Jared Allen had 4.5 sacks, and is officially my favorite player in the NFL now. Thank you guys, and back to you.
Alex, Brett Favre really had a phenomenal game last night. I bet the folks in Green Bay aren't too happy about that. All right, so we're back here with Mrs. Hicks talking about QVC. So how many days a week do you work at QVC?
Average 3. Yeah, sometimes more than that, obviously. But yeah, it depends what's going on, if it's fashion week or fashion day. Or
Do you find the hours stressful? How many hours do you work there?
You know what, in the beginning, I don't know hours-wise. In the beginning, you have to work all overnight. So that's where they give you the training. So, but it was great for me because I thought if someone had told me that I'd be doing that, I would have said, no, I need my 8 hours of sleep. But it was perfect because it didn't interrupt my family life. So I could get up at whatever 1 in the morning, and maybe have to be there for 3 a.m. and I'd be done by maybe 5 or 6 a.m. And it wasn't too bad. You know, it worked out really well. So I don't know in terms of hours, but you have to be there. You know, if a show starts at 6 a.m. or 3 p.m. You have to be there generally a couple of hours before that, and a show could run 1 to 2 hours. And you could be on a few different spots in a 1 hour or 2 hour show, you know, so you gotta kind of figure out what the run of the show is. And then, but if you do a 1 hour show, I have a 1 hour show coming up next week. They're there and on for the entire hour, and it's just fun. I love communicating. You've got millions of viewers across America who you're getting to sort of reach and talk to. I just love that. Mostly women at this point. I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially for fashion.
So you said that you're now selling exclusively a fashion line.
Yes.
What products did you sell before that?
It was still a fashion line, but there were 2 of us. There was a head guest and a secondary guest, and I was the secondary guest, started in that position. The head guest had been running for a couple of years, I guess, with City Knits it was called. And and I wanted a part-time job. I didn't want a full-time job at that point. And so 3 years later, the new line that they launched, which were the same designers, a more modern and sophisticated line, very cool, they asked that I be the head guest for that. So now that's what I'm doing. I love it. Yeah, I just love it.
So now you're in front of millions of people every day. Now you have to be nervous being on air.
You know what, it's not being on air, it's what happens before you're on air. You know, all the prep that you do, you probably feel the same way, right? It's all the prep, and I don't think that changes, regardless of how, I've been on the stage since I was 7. I won my first competition when I was 7 in singing, and you always get butterflies. That energy sort of propels you forward, as long as it doesn't kill you. Just keep you in the bathroom or something. So you know, you always have that. If you start to get too cocky, if you start to feel like, I got it all, that's not good. If you feel a little bit, you know, that little bit of uneasiness is a good thing, I think, as long as you can keep grounded and you know, relaxed, a little bit relaxed. It's okay to have the butterflies. I don't think that ever goes away. Ask any actor, singer, anybody.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you always, well, you know, in live television, something always goes wrong. Something, you just got to roll with it. You know. Yeah, so it's great.
Great.
It's fun.
All right. So we have Heather Ashley. She's ready for the weather. Heather, it was a little chilly walking into school this morning. How's it going to be for the rest of the day?
Well, thanks, James. It is currently 43 degrees with clear skies. Today's high will be 68 degrees with a low of 53. With a look at the 5-day, most of the week will be sunny, except for Wednesday, where there is a slight chance of rain. There will be slight cooling on Wednesday to have a high of 66 degrees, followed by an increase in temperature towards the end of the week. By the end of the week, the sun should be back and the highs will be around 72 degrees to 73. That's all for weather. Back to you, James.
All right, thanks, Heather Ashley. All right, we're back with Mrs. Hicks. So what advice do you have for younger people interested in the television industry?
Well, I would say generally, study that. You know, if you know that's what television and performing, I would say the same thing. If there is anything else that you're really good at, do that instead, because it is a very difficult industry. But if that's all you want, performing or television, if that is all you can just imagine and dream, go for it. But it is a tough road. It really is. Now, QVC for me, it is a dream job. I love it. It's an incredible company. It's huge, and it's very, frankly, compared to typical studios and things like that, and I've talked to people who are in broadcasting, it blows you away. I remember the first time I walked up to Studio Park in Westchester, and I thought, I'll take my headshot and resume, and I'll go and check out this little dinky, home shopping, whatever. And, I wasn't into it. And then, and I drove up to QVC Studio Park in Westchester, and I was blown away at how gorgeous it is. It's a fantastic company. So anyway, I would say that just beware, and you're going to start at the bottom. It's hard going. It's stiff competition. It's a lifestyle switch, from what you've ever known, and certainly not even a switch, a lifestyle, just a totally different lifestyle than most people you'll know. But go for it. Study everything. Get every bit of experience that you can glean. Everything that you can glean, and just go for it. Enjoy it.
Yeah.
But as soon as you stop enjoying it, get out and do something else.
Would you say that your performance background with singing really helped your career and get?
Completely, completely. Because you know what? It's all. In fact, it's interesting because. Hi there. It's interesting because, it's all the same thing. When I knew I was having a career change, I was thinking that I was going to do that, I had a huge analysis done. And what surprised me was I had always been thinking performance, singing. But what came up in this very extensive career analysis was actually I was much higher in communications and broadcasting, much higher, much better fit as an English teacher or in communications and broadcasting. So I thought, you know what? Maybe it really is time to switch, but I had gleaned so many incredible tools from my performance in terms of relaxation, having fun, being me, all of those great things, Obviously public speaking, that's something that's a big deal. So it was great.
Great.
Yeah.
Thank you. All right, let's head over to entertainment with Annie.
Well, that was such a cool graphic. Wow. Okay, today's entertainment. I feel like I haven't been on entertainment in years, and it's only been a few days, but I just love it so much. And I have some interesting news for everyone today. So, Kate Plus 8, not John and Kate Plus 8, is going to premiere November 2nd. TLC says that they feel Kate's journey better resonates with their viewers. So, poor little John is bye-bye because his actions in the media have not been very appropriate. Also, Julia Roberts is filming Eat, Pray, Love in India. They closed down the Pataudi temple in India to film this. Now, there was a 9-day Hindu festival going on that same day, so they had 350 guards surrounding the temple to finish filming. So good luck to Julia Roberts. Hopefully people, the Hindu celebrators of this festival, will not be mad at her, because that's kind of rude, maybe. Also, Claire Danes and Hugh Dancy secretly married in France, and they met on the set of, I believe it was a movie called Evening, so a little romance for them. And that is all in entertainment today. Have a fabulous day.
All right. Thank you very much, Annie. Before we go with Mrs. Hicks, what we're going to do is we're going to have her demonstrate what she does for her day job. So we have a couple of random everyday products, and Mrs. Hicks, we would like you to describe the product like you would as if you were on QVC. So right here we have your everyday mug. Tell us about it, Mrs. Hicks.
Alrighty then. Well, it's a classic shaped mug, I think, first of all. It's a wonderful Conestoga mug. And you know what? It feels great in the hand. That's one thing that I definitely feel. This is easy to sit in your cabinet, right? Nice flat bottom. And some of the new ones, the modern ones, are a little more tipsy. I like that, but it's not always practical. So it feels good in the hand. I like the gloss, high gloss finish, so it's easy to sort of see it, and especially in the morning, you sort of want to just have something that you can just sort of see easily and not feel like it's sort of, where's my coffee? I like the TETV, is that what it is?
Yeah.
Oh, so I love that because it really draws my heart to you guys. I think, oh, Conestoga, it's a great school, it feels good in the hand, and I can imagine sitting curled up with a hot, cup of, at this time of year, either cocoa or maybe apple cider or something like that. It feels good.
Wow, a true professional describing your
And it's a mug.
everyday mug. I think we're about out of time here on Mainline Morning. Thank you very much, Mrs. Hicks, for coming in. We really enjoyed having you on the show.
Thank you. It was great to be here.
All right, for Mainline Morning, I'm James Connors.
And I'm Mary Bridget Keene. Have a wonderful morning.